sucking now. What's up, baby? It's your girl, Coach D Free, on my way to the gym on this chilly Atlanta morning. What are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about pretty single sisters in the congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses and cliques. Because every 2 months or so, you could count on having either a local needs or something in the magazines or one of the book studies about cliques and about how it's so important to not have cliques, because we want to show love for the entire association of brothers and sisters, and we don't want to have anyone feeling excluded in Jehovah's organization. Yeah, I bet you don't, but we're going to cover why that is. Now, let's just get into that right now. All right, so cliques. We have to keep in mind that everything Watchtower says and does is for Watchtower. It benefits Watchtower to not have people form cliques. This is how I think about it. The reason why Watchtower does not or strongly discourages the formation of cliques, even though they're going to happen, and we'll talk about why they happen in a minute, but the reason I've seen why Watchtower strongly discourages forming cliques is because, one, you don't want people feeling left out. The fatherless boy, the widows, and the pretty sisters in the congregation often get ostracized, isolated, and feel left out. That tags into what we're going to talk about later. But you don't want to have the formation of cliques, because you give people who are left out too much time and freedom to think about the fact that, hey, maybe this organization isn't that loving. Maybe this organization is kind of like every other organization. Because Jehovah's Witnesses, one of their best selling points is this love, this worldwide love, this unconditional love that they have for one another. One, highly conditional love, very conditional. If you don't believe that their love is conditional, dissent on any point that's ever made in a Watchtower magazine and see how much love you get for having a difference of opinion. We don't even have to go into depth about that, because XJWs wouldn't be making these videos if the love was truly unconditional. We would feel a sense of obligation to keep our mouth shut, because we would say, hey, this really is such a loving organization, and I don't have a reason to put them on blast. But since they're not a loving organization, and since they are truly frauds, well, I guess we're just going to have to speak our piece about it. Not out of a vendetta or being vindictive, but out of a sense of wanting to actually push out the truth, the real truth, the whole truth about this organization. So see, if you become isolated and you start to feel bad, you might start to think to yourself, well, why am I going to the Kingdom Hall? Why am I going out in field service? Why am I ripping and running from all these sisters' houses, helping them clean their house and cook and clean and doing all this? Is this service of love, but I'm not getting any love and attention back? At least that's how I used to feel a lot of the time, okay? The second reason, which kind of ties into the first reason why Watchtower strongly discourages and will break up a clique, I've seen it happen, is because cliques are like the safe haven for Jehovah's Witnesses. When you find you a group of fellow Jehovah's Witnesses who resonate with you, vibe with you, y'all have a similar energy, y'all become close friends, y'all start to talking about things that Watchtower don't want you to talk about. You might get starting to talking about the things that the other witnesses are doing in the congregation. You might get starting to realizing that elder so-and-so and married elder wife so-and-so ain't so perfect. Yeah, they can get on stage and give them awesome talks. Yeah, she could put her hand up and give them awesome comments. But baby, do you know what went on in that house last night? You know what I'm saying? It starts to chatter. You start to chatter, and I'm not talking about slandering or gossip. I'm talking about just people talking about people. That's what we do. There's nothing wrong with that. Current news and events, what's going on, who's getting married, who's getting divorced, who's having a child, who's whatever. When you're in a clique, you start to feel comfortable, and you start to talk more and more about how you really feel. That's why cliques really are instrumental and important for a Jehovah's Witness to survive as being a Jehovah's Witness. Because you got to let off some steam every once in a while. Let me make sure I'm still recording. All right. You got to let off some steam every once in a while. And those conversations, as they become more authentic and less superficial, other things you've been wanting to express may start coming out. Like the fact that you may have been having doubts about what you've been learning. Huh? Maybe you start to, maybe somebody in your clique, because everybody feels so comfortable with each other, might slip up and say, you know what, I really don't understand the overlapping generations. I don't get it. And then somebody else may chime in a little bit later, either that day or the next time y'all in service or next time y'all grab lunch together. Because when you in a clique, that's another thing. When you in a clique, you don't just do spiritual things. Like y'all hang out outside the congregation, outside the Kingdom Hall. Which is also another reason why, really, Jehovah's Witnesses, if you watching, if you have a clique, please keep your clique and don't feel bad about having a clique. You need a support system dealing with that nasty cult that you in anyway. So those conversations that you have with your friends, people start expressing their real feelings. Watchtower do not want that, okay? And, you know, talk is dangerous. Loose lips sink Watchtower ships. And they don't want that. They don't want that. They want you to spread around and spread yourself thin, trying to get to know every single person in the congregation. First of all, everybody is not going to like everyone else. People have different energies. It doesn't mean you mad at brother or sister Bensworth. I just made up a name. I don't know no Bensworths in real life. But you may not like Sister Bensworth because she mean. And she don't ever say nothing encouraging. You may not like Brother Bensworth because he always winking at you. Ew. He always doing that thing right there with his nasty ass, excuse my language, with his nasty self. You may not want to gel with them. You may not want to go to their house. They may have roaches. Ew. You don't like that. You went one time. You didn't know if that was raisin in the salad or if it was one of the long lost cut. Look, I'm just saying. Watchtower will force you to force yourself on people that you know you don't want to hang out with, and they don't want to hang out with you, and that is okay. That's just another level of Watchtower micromanaging your life. Get to know the whole congregation, and what's even worse about it, you need a clique. But you're not going to really find a clique if you are a staunch, dedicated, devoted Jehovah's Witness. Because you are looked at as the congregation snitch. I didn't fit in with cliques because I was sister super spiritual. I was dealing with so much guilt from the lifestyle I led before I officially got baptized. I was feeling so guilty about that. I felt like I had something to prove to Jehovah, to the congregation, to everybody. I was straight operating out of shame. So I took everything I learned to like the umpteenth degree. And it was bad because people liked me for being encouraging, but I didn't get invited places anywhere because I didn't belong in a clique. And the young people at that time, especially here in Atlanta, they would have fun. Like they would organize these out-of-state parties that always ended up in like mass elder meetings. Once that was said and done, always. Or just even local stuff that wasn't bad, like skate parties and trips out of town. Dang, what else we used to do? Football games, sports games. Like I didn't get invited to stuff like that because people felt like, okay, D is going to either snitch on us or she going to counsel us or she might goddamn do both. And they were right. At that point in time, I would have done those things. So I don't blame them for not being in a clique. I felt bad about it then. But again, I was still under cult indoctrination. So you can't blame me for that. But now I can understand why people didn't want me around. Ew. No. You go read a Bible, D. Like you so super spiritual, but really I was super lonely. And that's a twofold reason. I was super spiritual. I felt like I had something to prove. And I was definitely looking for love and attention because I wasn't going to get it from anybody's clique. And I damn sure wasn't going to get it from the older ones in the congregation because they were jealous. Why were they jealous? Because I was a young, attractive sister in the congregation and I was single. Which leads me to the next point. Don't nobody get shitted on. Don't nobody get pummeled on more than the single, attractive Jehovah's Witness woman. You want to know who is the most depressed, the lowest self-esteem person in the Kingdom Hall is, and any Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses? Look for the single attractive sisters. That's it. That's her. Nobody's more unhappy than her. Wow. Now let me say this disclaimer too before I really dive into that. Come on, time. All right. Let me say this. I'm not necessarily sitting here saying I'm attractive. Other people say I'm attractive. So that's number one, because I really don't want to hear no little minded people try to blast me out because she thinks she all that. I do think I'm all that. Well, I ain't all that, but I'm that a little something. And I'm going off of what people have told me. Okay? All right. Second, remember, I grew up in the congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. I grew up in that culture my whole life. I don't know any other religious cultures besides Jehovah's Witnesses. Southern Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay, let's put that on there too. And for the majority of that time, I was not considered the attractive sister. I was obese. And I did not take care of myself because I had very, very low self-esteem. I didn't care about myself. I was depressed. I couldn't put those. I didn't know that back then. You don't know that back then. You don't know it while you're in it. But that's what was going on. So I didn't start really caring and taking care of myself until really like a few years before I started fading. People wasn't checking for me then. Brothers didn't start checking for me until I started losing that weight and I started dressing better, started taking care of myself. So I know both sides of that coin. Okay? Both sides of that coin. So I'm talking from a perspective of don't nobody care about you. You fit in. You fat and frumpy like all the other sisters. Don't care about yourself like all the other sisters. And I know the angle of, oh, that's her. That's Sister Freeman. That's the tall, pretty girl we was telling you about. People coming to the congregation to check me out to see if they wanted to date me and marry me. So I know both sides of that coin. And I'm telling you, no one gets beat up on more than the single pretty sister, because she a threat to everybody. Watchtower don't want you feeling good about yourself. And because Watchtower indoctrinates people to not feel good about themselves, them women don't feel good about themselves, whether they single or married. I done had single sisters jealous of me. I had married sisters jealous of me. Single sisters get jealous of me because I'ma snatch up all the single men in the congregation. And you know what's crazy? Out of all the congregations I've been in, there's never been a brother that just really like did it for me. That just like, ooh, yeah, I want brother Solomon, or brother Xavier. Like there was never that guy. But there's another reason for that too. Not many men attracted me back in those days anyway. But we're gonna talk about that another time. Anyway, the single pretty sister is always on an uphill battle. Because everything she do, people randomly interpret it as her showing off. Pretty single sister give a good comment, oh, she just showing off. Single pretty sister get invited to a pool party and she actually wears a bathing suit to a pool party, oh, she just showing off. She just trying to steal my husband. Single pretty sister sign up for the pioneer work, oh, look, she just doing too much. Why can't she just yada yada yada? Always something with the single pretty sisters. And really it's nothing but them manifesting their own insecurities. But they're co-indoctrinated too. They feel bad about themselves and they can't even realize, sis, don't nobody want what the hell you got, because ain't nothing you got that I can't get. So you start feeling good about yourself when you start. Look, I'm telling y'all, I'm on my way to the gym right now. I'm about to pass it up because I want to finish this video. But it's something else when you start glowing from the inside and it's like, wait a minute now. Who you talking to though? Who you talking to though? You talking to me? Nah, you ain't talking to me, because I don't want your pot belly, whiskered face husband, and his skin is dry. Girl, please. So anyway, so where does that leave the single pretty sisters? It's hard for her to join a clique. She ain't gonna have no support system except her family. And then she's always having to prove that she's a good person, because the congregation low-key look at her like evil, like a Jezebel. Like you a Jezebel if you wear makeup to the Watchtower study. I'm a Jezebel because I want to wear lipstick and put on some eyelashes? Is you serious? Nah, boo-boo. You look like a potato. I'm not even going to say Mrs. Potato Head, because at least she had red lips when you know, at least she had lipstick on. I'm not even gonna say Mrs. Potato, just a regular potato. Like the potatoes y'all was giving out to people for them food boxes and talking about Jehovah provided it. Stop that. Where my time? Ooh, did my thing go off? Okay, no. So where does that leave the single pretty sisters in the congregation? They feel bad about themselves. A lot of them start letting themselves go too. Really, I've seen it, and it's sad, man. It really is, because that's the only way you fit in. I fitted in more when I didn't care about myself. I got invited to gatherings. They was lame, but still I got the invite. You know, people cared and looked out for me more. It's like people feel sorry for you then. But when you become that sister or that brother, it works for the brothers a little bit the same way too. I don't know. Leave it in the comments if you was one of those brothers. A few of y'all have in the last video. So yeah, it do work for the brothers, but it's a little more intense, I think, for the sisters. I could be wrong, but I can only come from a woman's perspective. So you either let yourself go or you keep yourself up, but you slowly become bitter and hateful you just become upset with people because you know people are judging you unfairly. For the most part, at least for me, I was honest in what I was trying to do. I honestly was trying to serve Jehovah to the best of my abilities. I honestly was trying to give him the good things, the good treasures of my youth and of my intellect and of my speaking. Yeah, I was genuinely trying to help people who I thought were worse off not being Jehovah's Witnesses. That was my intent. I was really not focused on trying to steal somebody's spouse. I wasn't even focused on trying to have sex with somebody. I wasn't. And it's like you always feel like you got to prove that. Like, no, I'm here. So then you start overexpending yourself. A lot of them single sisters start doing the most, trying to prove that they are good people and they're not trying to jump the bones of somebody else in the congregation. That they really not a threat, that I'm a good-hearted person. I'm not going to come up. If I know you interested in the brother, sis, I ain't about to come and try to swipe him. Go ahead and have him. Go ahead and have him. I ain't up here trying to swipe your husband, sis. I done said that too many times already to repeat it, but I'm going to say it one more time because I want to. Don't nobody want your tired, broke, dusty, fat, stupid, ugly husband. No offense. No offense. Let me start this over because I don't want this to get cut off.